First off, I want to thank the brave men and women who work behind the wall. I want to thank them on a national level because their job goes unrecognized.
How do they try to turn a guard?
Well, correctional officer. Sorry, I apologize. But correctional officer. How you guys doing today? It's Anthony Gangi, host of Tier Talk. You know, as I'm getting closer to my goal of 10,000, I'm kind of looking back at the history of Tier Talk and where we have been, where we are going. And I remember in 2015, I wrote an article called, Yes, Corrections is Law Enforcement. I got a comment. The comment said, Gangi, you're an ambassador for the profession. To some extent, I knew what that meant, but I really didn't understand what it meant. Not at this level. And we come back from our sponsors. I want to talk about what that word means to me today. It's a lot different than how I interpreted it back in 2015. And I want to share this with you guys. Now, guys, if you haven't, the show Tier Talk, show you brave men and women that work in corrections. So please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. The bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stand by for our sponsors. We come back. I'm going to tell you my understanding of what it means to be an ambassador for this profession.
I wanted to attend a university that had an intelligence program. I wanted to look at problems different. I wanted to increase my critical thinking abilities. AMU offered those avenues to expand. Obtaining your degree as an adult, you're actually paying yourself and investing in yourself. You can't put a dollar on it, it's priceless. It's something that can never be taken away from you.
American Military University. Learn from the leader.
Thank you guys for listening to my sponsors. You know, when I first got that ambassador of this profession in 2015, I was humbled by that. I mean, this is a great profession, noble profession. Who wouldn't be humbled by someone saying that, especially when you notice what that term really means? But as Tier Talk progressed, I realized that it wasn't so much about the profession, even though the profession was a part of it. It was about the people that work in this profession, the noble people that answer the calling of what corrections requires. Because this is a profession that's not just for anyone. This profession will test you every day. So the people that survive in this profession are the elite of the elite. And as Tier Talk has progressed, I realized that when someone says, hey, Gangi, you're an ambassador for this profession, they're actually saying, Gangi, you're an ambassador for the people that work in this profession. You're an ambassador for the elite of the elite, if you will. You know, when I created Tier Talk, I had a Facebook page. And I used to brag all the time because I had started to accumulate a following. And at one point when it was reaching up to 20,000 on Facebook, I think now we're at 27,000, but at one point when we were reaching up to 20,000, I used to tell people, look guys, I must know what I'm talking about because I got 20,000 people that follow me on Facebook. Someone humbled me real quick and said, Gange, how do you know they're following you and not the articles that you post? Because you post a lot of correctional related issues and your page is very interesting because, you know, people that are interested in the field will like your page. And I said, you know what, man? You're 100% correct. I don't know if they're following me or the articles I post, which aren't my articles. They come from all over the net, specifically Corrections 1. So, at that time, besides the podcast, I said, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start creating a YouTube channel. And now that's going to be my content. So now if people subscribe to the YouTube channel, they're subscribing to me and my content because they agree with the message. So a couple years later, we're close to my original goal of 10,000. You know, at this point, we're over 9,300 and change. So we're going to probably get it within the next month or two. And I don't compare myself to other channels. All I do is compare myself to myself. So if I see the progressive growth, that's great because one day I'm going to sleep and let's say I'm at 9,200 and the next day I wake up, I'm at 9,300. I mean, that shows that I'm growing, I'm moving forward. And now to have a channel that's starting to reach that goal of 10,000, it humbles me because that's almost 10,000 people in this profession who believe in my message and the consistency of my message. Also the community that I have built in this time. It's an amazing community, guys. Experienced new people. It's just a very good, balanced community that offers a lot to people that want to enter this field. I mean, I'll tell you something. Because of this community, I believe Tier Talk is one of the best training tools we have in this field of corrections. The videos, supplemented by the comments from the people in the community. It's a great balance. And I'm honored to bring that forward, by the way. But as we progress, I want to talk about humanizing the badge. So you're going to start seeing content that's going to come on the channel that's really going to focus on people's lives. If you don't see it on my channel, there's going to be content I'm doing for another channel. So I'm going to eventually start forwarding you over to the other channel as well, so you can see the finished videos. I'll put the trailers up here, but you'll see the finished videos on another channel. What I'm going to try to do is, see, corrections has such a negative bias, and it's a history that's very tough to overcome. And I've been trying to do this for years. And we're doing it slowly but surely. Trust me, there are people that come to this page with a mindset, and then all of a sudden we're able to change that mindset, whether it's a video I do or the comments from the community. You know, the key is that they come in with a mindset and we're able to kind of bring them more towards the middle, because that's the key, middle ground. I mean, recently we had an inmate advocate that watched one of our videos and totally didn't realize how much we actually have in common in regards to the needs that we would like to have that are very similar to the needs of the inmates. Anyway, when it comes to humanizing the badge, I feel that people need to connect to the individuals who work in the system. Let them see the noble men and women, the brave men and women that work in this profession. But let them connect to them first on a humanistic level, if you will. You know, we could tell their stories to the point where, oh yeah, but they were a correctional officer. Oh wow, well, I'll tell you something. I related to this story because they were a mother. I related to this story because they were someone's son. I think by bringing value to the individuals who work in this profession, you're automatically going to bring value to the profession. I think that's what we may be missing. If people could just take the time to meet one of us. Because guys, we're very rare, believe it or not. I mean, I speak at colleges all the time, and here's the blessing here, because I speak at Seton Hall, Rutgers. The blessing here is that I may be the first person that they speak to that ever worked in the field of correction. So I'm setting that initial imprint, which is a very powerful imprint. When you set the initial imprint, that is a very powerful impact, because everything's defined subsequently by that initial imprint. So I come in very objective, very fair, but very positive about the profession and what we do. And given that opportunity is an opportunity I never turn down. I'm meeting people who don't know nothing about this profession and kind of setting the groundwork on it, which is not always the case for us. So when you get a chance to do that, you should. When I also bring people to sit next to me, because sometimes I will, these are people that I connect to my reputation. And I've built a very good reputation with Tier Talk. So the people that I decide to sit next to me, or that I decide to have on my show, I decide to, now we're doing these live Q&As, the people that I may have come on and answer, I'm connecting you to that reputation. Because I feel that what you have to offer is similar to the message I'm trying to give, consistent with the message that I'm trying to give. And my message right now is partnered with what my community wants. That's how I keep things consistent. That means when I come up with a video, I just don't think about what I would want. I think about how my community would take what I'm offering. And I think for the most part, I'm pretty good at understanding what you guys want to see, what you guys want to hear. And even if there's a disagreement, we can be constructive about it and use that as a way to learn. And sometimes I know there will be a disagreement. That's how well I know my audience. I know the people that watch this channel. I know if I'm going to say something that's kind of, on the edge. And again, that's just, we all have different perspectives. As I start to move up, my perspective gets a little bit bigger. So sometimes it's a matter of reminding myself that, let me just go back to that front line because I'm not seeing something on that immediate level, or vice versa. Sometimes the front line may say, you know what, Gangi, I didn't think about the bigger picture. So it's really good back and forth constructive dialogue. But I think the key here, though, is to continue with that consistent message, but to remind people that are from the outside looking in that we're no different than you, that we have hopes and dreams, we have families, and I think that if they can relate to us on that level and build a respect for who we are, then they'll build a respect for the profession. And being an ambassador, we all can be an ambassador. All we got to do is talk good about what we do, about the people we work with, about the system that we work for. As much as that could be frustrating, we have to do it. Because if not, then we can't get mad when people think less of this profession. We can't get mad at that because we had a chance to set an initial impact and we did it in a negative way. And we don't want that. We want to set it off positive. Because trust me, guys, when I speak to these college kids, they want that information. And they're thirsty. So you don't want to feed them with negative, disgruntled ideas about this profession. If anything, you want to remind them of the people that work in this profession and then explain the profession that way. Start from the people that are your peers. Start from the people that are your brothers and sisters. Start about the hard work that they do to accomplish the mission. And let them see that. Because once we start getting respect for the profession, then the things that we want on a higher scale will happen. I believe it will. And I believe that's why I do what I do. But again, it humbles me to see where the channel was and where we are now, to see the growth. It humbles me to see people get involved, people believing in the message. So let's continue this. We're almost at 10,000. We're almost at that level where I really feel, because 10,000, I don't know why that was a magical number for me, but I felt it the day I opened this channel. And now, a couple years later, I'm getting close to it. I really feel that when 10,000 happens, just for some reason, I feel doors are going to open. And doors are opening for me. Don't get me wrong. And I'm using those doors that are opening for me to open for the profession. So the people that are getting involved with the channel, they know that I'm about the profession. And they know that I'm not going to sell out. Trust and believe. I won't sell out. Because again, selling out would be inconsistent with why I started this to begin with. And I think that's a big reason why I continue to grow. Because no matter what, even as you see the channel from when I first started to where we're at now, it was always about bringing respect to this profession. Now, whatever avenue I decided to take, it always brought me to the same goal in the end. But there are some changes I've made. But that's just in regards to how I have to change my path, because I'm just getting resistance on this one end. But the goal has never changed. So, again, this is just a quick dialogue, but I felt I had to get this out today. Haven't been on this porch for a while. It's a nice night. Fall's starting. Eventually winter will be here, so I wanted to get one last video on this deck. I haven't done one out here since last year. So, plus the kids are asleep now early. School. So I'm able to get a little more content out there. But this is important. When given the chance to talk good about the profession, think about the people you work with and start from there. Think about the noble work you do every day. The noble work they do every day. Let's all be ambassadors for this profession. Let's be ambassadors by reminding people of the heroes that work behind this wall, and when given the chance, we should tell their stories. What story affected you the most this year? What story affected you the most in the lifetime of your career? That's a story you could share. I'd like to know, in your case, what story about corrections affected you the most? What had the greatest impact? If it was a life that was lost, whose life was it? And why was that life so impactful? I would love to hear from you. That's the key. And then when given the chance, if you're out in the public, you should share that story. Because if they see your emotion, most people will feel your emotion. And then when you go tell your story, it will create that just much more of a powerful impact, because people remember stories that they connect emotions to. So the more you're affected by the story you tell, the more they'll be affected. And they'll remember you. And they'll also remember the story that you told. And then if they relate to you in that manner, and they relate to that story that you told, they start to relate to the profession. And next thing you know, you start a ripple effect just by talking to that one person. And who knows? You never know who that one person is either. All right, guys, if you haven't, the show's Tier Talk. Please subscribe, interact, engage, comment, hit that bell. That bell's going to notify you every time I post a video. Stay safe.